Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren and today I am going to be telling you all about my tips and tricks for getting like a perfect, flawless self-tan this summer. And I will tell you a little bit about some of the products that I use to help me get there. So yeah, if that's something that you're interested in, then stay tuned. But first, we have a couple housekeeping things to take care of. So to start off, obviously, I am in a different place than usual. And I wish that I could say, oh, I moved. This is my new house and it's so awesome. But no. I'm house sitting for a friend this week, house sitting / dog sitting. And so I decided I would just film in her house so that I didn't have to go back to my house and film. So that's where I am. I will be back to my regular space, which is not better, but whatever. I will be back to my normal filming space next week. And I'm wearing a hat today. I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like I look awesome, and then I'm like, but is it me? You know, very difficult life questions we're dealing with here. Is a hat really me? Difficult. And the next thing is, I have not been uploading regularly like I used to be. Life has been a little bit crazy. My schedule was like changing a lot. I had a second job there for a while, and now I don't have a second job, and then I was sick and didn't have my voice, and my voice is still hoarse 2 weeks later. But anyways, besides the point. So I've had some trouble. I do need to change my upload day because my upload day was Fridays, and I think that I am going to change it to Thursdays. So from now on, you should be able to expect a video from me every single Thursday. I don't think that I should have to skip any weeks from here on out. Everything should be smooth sailing from here. So yeah, I'm sorry that it's been crazy, but things will go back to normal very shortly. So without further ado, let's get into the video. First of all, if you haven't seen my recent self-tanner video, I will link it down below. You should check it out. I compare like 4 of the top most popular self-tanners out there, and I think it's really useful if you're trying to figure out which self-tanner you should buy. But my personal favorite is, of course, the Loving Tan, and I have this Mitt. I want to say this is an Ulta. It's either an Ulta one or a Tropez one. I feel like the Tropez ones, though, are black. This is brown. I don't know. Either way, I think that this is a really good tan, and if you want to see why I think it's a really good tan, I will leave that video linked right down below. I am not sponsored. They did not send this to me. I paid for it myself, so you should know that. As far as mitts go, though, it's kind of hard to find a good mitt, which sounds a little bit crazy, maybe, but the Tropez mitts and the Ulta mitts are my favorites. They are not super durable though. I have problems with them like splitting along the seams on the side and tearing apart. But it's usually like I'll get one and it'll rip the first time I use it, and I go buy another one, and then that one lasts for like a month and a half or 2 months or whatever. So it's just kind of hit or miss with the quality with those mitts. I thought I would really like the Vita Liberata mitt because it seems really well built and kind of thick and sturdy and like well made. But when I put the tan on, it was really splotchy. Like it made my tan look splotchy, which sucks. Someone needs to come up with a mitt that is sturdy and reusable and you can use for like ever, but is still good at rubbing in tan. I don't know why that doesn't exist, but it doesn't. But my recommendation is get the Ulta ones or the Tropez ones, because those are my favorites that I found so far. And the next thing that I want to talk about is when you're prepping to put on your tan. So I think it's really important to exfoliate. That's not news to anybody. Everybody knows that you're supposed to exfoliate before you self-tan. But I do it a little bit differently. It's not that I don't like scrubs, because it's not... But it seems like they cost money, and then I have to use like half the jar to scrub my entire body well. So, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of scrubs. So what I like to use is, and I don't have them here because this isn't my house, but they're like little scrubby gloves. You can buy them anywhere, I think, like Ulta, Walgreens, grocery stores. I've seen them, I think I bought mine at King Soopers or something. So pretty much any place you go should have them. They just look like gloves, but they're really scrubby, and they're like in the bath soap aisle. And they work really, really well. So what I do is I just use regular soap and those scrubby gloves, and to me that exfoliates my skin a lot better than any scrub that I've ever found. So that's kind of my preference, is to use the little scrubby gloves. And yeah, if you haven't tried those and you like to exfoliate, I definitely recommend it. And yeah, the next thing that I want to talk about that is maybe a little controversial in the world of self-tanning is I like to put lotion on before I put my self-tanner on. And let me say that by putting lotion on before you put self-tanner on, it is not going to be as dark, no matter what. There's no way around that. The tan will just not be quite as dark. However, it will go on so much easier, so much smoother, and you'll have so much less splotchiness and weird like wrists and stuff. It's so much better. So what I do is I take a really, really lightweight lotion, like those really cheap lotions that you get in little gift sets at Christmas that you're like, oh, I'll never use that lotion because it's like water, like it doesn't really do anything. Any like really thin, lightweight lotion, I put that all over my entire body. And then I put a really thick body butter, or in my case, I use coconut oil, which I've talked about in other videos. And I put that on my dry spots. So I put it on my elbows, I put it on my wrists and my hands, I put it on my knees, I put it on my ankles. I have a few like calluses and weird random places that I'll put a little bit of coconut oil. So any of the places that are super dry, I put the coconut oil, but then I put that really lightweight lotion all over the rest of my body. I think that that is the best way to do it personally, and that's the only way that I have found it works for me. If I try not putting on lotion or just putting lotion on my dry spots, it does not work out for me. I have to do both of those things, and that is what I have found that works best for me. As I've said a million times before, I have really dry skin, so if you didn't have as dry skin as I have, maybe you wouldn't need to do that, but I definitely recommend putting on lotion before you apply your self-tanner, and yeah, definitely try it. So the next thing I want to talk about is the way I apply my self-tanner. So when you're applying self-tanner, you want to make sure that you apply the bulk of the product to a part of your body where it's not going to stick. So for me, I start with my calves, and when I apply the self-tanner to my calf, I only put one pump of foam, and then I start in the middle of my shin and my calves, and then like as that kind of rubs in there, then I slowly work my way towards my ankles and towards my knee, because the ankles are tough, the knees are tough, and you want to just make sure that you don't have a ton of product when you go over those areas. And same with like my arms and my hands. So when I apply self-tanner to my arms, I use 2 pumps over my whole arm, and I start up here and work my way down and kind of stay on the top, and then go under when I have less product, and then to my elbow, and then slowly down to my wrist. And I do my hands last with whatever product is just left on the mitt. So that's kind of my recommendation, is to make sure that you apply the bulk of the product away from parts of your body where you think that the self-tanner might possibly stick to. And the next thing that I want to talk about is hands. Everybody has a different way that they do self-tanner around their wrists and their hands. And you know, you see a lot of people who have weird tan hands and whatever. I almost never have a problem with weird tan hands. The only thing I have a problem with is I have calluses on my wrists. So like I'll get a dark spot on the callus. So I try to put the coconut oil there to try and help that. But so like I mentioned, I apply 2 pumps to my arm and wait till I get down here and just use whatever product's left. And I apply it just like they tell you to apply it in any other video. It's like make a claw, go between your fingers and on your knuckles and all that stuff. I apply it the normal way. The thing that I do differently is before I apply the self-tanner, like I mentioned before, put a ton of coconut oil all over my hands and wrists. That way, if some of the self-tanner kind of seeps through the mitt, it doesn't really stain my hands. And then when I'm done self-tanning, so like I do my legs, my stomach, my chest, my arms, and then I do my back. My back is the last thing that I do. So I only leave the self-tanner that I put on my hands while I'm doing my back. And then as soon as I'm done applying self-tanner, I wash my hands. And the way that I wash my hands is I kind of let the water run between my hands, so it kind of just hits my palms directly. And then I will scrub my fingers, but I'm trying to keep the water off of my wrist, so I'm trying to keep most of my hands dry. But when I go to dry my hands off afterwards, I kind of use it to wipe off all the excess product up here. And then I use the towel that's slightly damp to kind of buff this area in so that you get like a nice kind of even gradient from like dark to lighter onto your hands. Which that's the way I prefer it. I would prefer to have a gradient of dark to light from my elbow to my wrist than have weird splotchy marks. And I feel like that's what works the best is when you wash, only leave the self-tanner on your hands for a few minutes and then wash it right off and then buff it in with the towel. So yeah, if you've never tried doing your hands that way, I definitely recommend it. I feel like it works the best for me. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And then the last and final thing that I want to talk about is maintenance. So in order to keep your tan looking good over the life of whenever you're wearing it, which is usually like a week, I think it's really important to exfoliate while you shower. I use my gloves just the same, but I just am not so hard about it. I'm more gentle, because if you're too hard about it, you're gonna end up rubbing the tan off on all the areas where you want it, and it will still be stuck to the other areas that you don't want it, where it kind of clings. So you want to like exfoliate lightly every time that you shower, and you definitely want to apply a very serious moisturizer, which, like I said before, I use coconut oil. That is my favorite like deep moisturizing lotion that I use, and I use it all over my body all the time. But obviously if you have less dry skin than I have, you could probably get away with using like a regular body butter or something like that. But whatever kind of thick creamy lotion that you use on a regular basis, or if you don't use a thick creamy lotion on a regular basis, I recommend doing that. That will help keep the tan on longer, because the less skin that gets sloughed off and the more that it stays on, the better the tan's gonna last. So that is my recommendation. And the other thing is, I find that I can apply a tan twice. So I can apply tan, say Monday. We'll pretend Monday I apply tan. I'll apply it again on Wednesday, but then I have to wait like a good week from that Wednesday for all of it to come off before I apply it again. Especially with the Loving Tan, because it's so dark and it stays so well on your skin, you have a hard time getting it off. And it will, you know, any self-tanner, as it wears off, will sort of stick to the places where it's clung to, like your elbows or your knees or wherever. So when it starts to fade, you will get not splotchiness, because it won't look splotchy, but it'll look like some parts of your body are staying darker than others. So what I recommend is not reapplying more than twice before you let it come off completely before reapplying again. So what I'm saying is, if you keep reapplying, those splotches will just keep getting darker, and you'll end up with a really weird splotchy tan. So I don't recommend applying more than twice consecutively. So if you've applied it once and then you've done it a second time, then I recommend that you wait till it comes off completely before you apply again. That's my recommendation. You don't have to do it that way. A lot of people don't do it that way, but that's my recommendation, and I feel like that makes it look better when you put it back on. So anyways, those are all of my tips and tricks for self-tanning. Hopefully something in there is something new that you haven't heard before and can help you get a better application on your tan. Or if you're somebody who has always said like, no, self-tanning is not for me, because you've had trouble with it in the past, try some of these things and try these products that I talked about. I swear to you, it will make a world of difference. So Anyways, if you guys have any other tips or tricks that you want to leave down below, leave them in the comments. And as always, if you like this video, please like it, please subscribe to my channel. And I am on social media. Check me out on all of my social media. I have Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and I will leave that all linked down below, along with my other self-tanning video that I did a couple weeks ago. And thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Cat. Yeah, okay. Thanks. Thanks for that. Hat or no hat? To be or not to be? That is the question. No, that's not. Backwards? What? Totally. This is totally it right now. This. Do I look like I belong here? No. Can I wear hats? Am I a hat girl? Can't. Can I wear this hat? I don't know. Does this look stupid? It looks stupid. I don't know. But I love it. I'm trying to make this into like an existential crisis, and it's just a hat. So, the upload schedule has... Let's get right on into the video, and yeah. There's a cat. Cat. Cat, it's this way. Getting back on topic. Today I'm going to be, This lighting makes my skin look so good. Yes it does. Yes it does.